Kevin Brock for giant coconade tricks and tips. Secret corn brine for bigger coconade. Shasta Whiskey Town custom ride giveaways. Free prizes for everyone who attends. January 17th at noon, International Sportsman Show in Sacramento.
Strong when the big one bites. Sensitive, feel the softest strikes. Cape Rock rods mean you'll catch more fish. They give you everything you wish. Get yours today, don't wait, don't stall at participating stores or visit fishcaveandrock.com.
Okay, Kevin, what's up? Here we are. Look, a few buttons here and there, but it's Real Talk with Kevin and Brock at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, you did it for me. Hey, thank you,
know,
buddy.
sorry.
I love your shirt. I love your shirt.
Oh, I love my
Welcome to
camera.
the show, everybody. We're getting closer to Christmas time. 'Tis the season, and what a great show we've got for you guys today. We're going to go over some new rods that we've got in that will be available at the ISE show. We'll talk about each one in depth, actually, today on what to use, where to use, and things like that. We've got our what's hot, what's not tip of the week for where to go fishing at. We've got a few other things to talk about. We got a controversial issue going on, and we'll talk about that a little bit more on the front-facing sonar live scope. We'll chat about that a little bit. We've got a new product coming out, but let's start off here. This evening by 'Tis the Season to Be Jolly. You hear lots of different Christmas music now. You hear Christmas lights, all that. It's kind of the warm, fuzzy feeling. People are shopping, and it's kind of a commercialized thing that we've done. But, the real reason behind the season is, the man upstairs gives us another chance, so we don't want to forget about that. I got up this morning to take off and run out to the duck blind real quick, take the dog out, and I had a notification come across my phone that one of my friends, good friend of mine, passed away last night, fighting cancer, and doing some different things, and it took him. And you think that whenever you lose somebody, and I'm not even family, I was just his friend, but I still loved him just the same. You have all kinds of emotions go on, and we're supposed to be comforted knowing that hey, he believed in God, and he's going to heaven, and he's not in pain anymore, and that's all easy to say. But bottom line is, it just sucks. And if you've lost someone during the holidays, or if you lost someone anytime here lately and you're still mourning, my hat's off to you, and a big KB hug to you. And I'm sorry, the pain will pass, but it just sucks. It's part of life, but it just sucks. We're supposed to mourn. We're supposed to, again, hey, it's okay. We're supposed to be happy. We're happy for them. Again, they're not in pain, and like I said, all that's true, but they're still not here anymore. And for right now, it sucks. And no matter who you talk to, everybody's lost someone that's close to them. And I was looking at something real quick here. Let's see. I always love our devices. I saved one thing. Not sure which one I'm going to load. Yeah. In Job chapter 1, verse 21, this is a quote out of the Bible. And he said, God saying, and he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. I mean, that's about as simple as it gets. We show up here with nothing. We work so hard. We leave with nothing. And hopefully, if our hearts are right, and if that's what you believe, and anyway, that's what I believe. If my heart's right, you ask God into your heart, you go to heaven, and He's prepared a place for you. It talks about in the Bible, He's prepared a place for you to go, and where there is no pain, there is no hurt, there is no anger, there is no frustration, all that we deal with here, and try to get by. So that's always a positive thing. But that verse kind of caught me. I was like, wow, we work so hard to do all this stuff, and when we leave, we don't leave with any of it. You don't go. We leave it to people, and hopefully it helps some people, whoever we leave it to. But overall, people say, well, what are they going to say about you, for your obituary? What do they say? Who cares?
You're not here.
We're gone. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, he was a nice guy. He caught lots of fish. He wasn't a nice guy, yada, 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 whatever. They say it doesn't really matter. So what matters is right now. So we're going to talk about what I know that matters. We're going to talk about fishing.
There
So
you go.
let's hit a little drum roll, please.
Let's do this
A
here.
little drum
We want
roll.
A little bit of a drum
We got
roll.
this. Here we go. For the very first time ever,
Oh,
I
what
would
is
like to
that?
present to you, boom, 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 the Kick 'em a Pow.
Oh, yeah.
Label right there.
Kick him a
Catfish
pow.
bait, brine, and enhancer. Right there. It doesn't say enhancer on it, but
No.
it is the catfish bait cure. That's what the label says. But it is an enhancer, and it has, I can't tell you exactly what it has in it, but what it does have in it, it makes them bite more. Now, we took the same exact concoction that I put together for the stripers that you've been using.
Yep.
I did a little research, and I got me a little something stuff that the old whisker fish really, really like.
Well, we're going
It's
to be running that.
legal, and it's the first time you've ever seen it here. It will be at the International Sportsman's Expo for sale. It'll be in your boat, Stoney, and you'll be able to take it to your first catfish bash, catfish tournament, catfish, whisker fish, whatever you want to call them. But here it is. You asked, we delivered. But I was mixing it all up, and I'm like, this is going to be good. This is
Yeah.
going to be real good. It is going to attract them from afar. It's got some stuff in there that, yeah. Anyway, I blended it all up. You can't buy in some states, but I got a hold of it. So
There you
anyway,
go.
I'm not going to say what state it is because we're in California. But anyway, it's good stuff. Check this out. And again, it's the same stuff that you already used that have caught lots of fish on.
Oh, yeah.
Just got a couple more little things in there that whisker fish like.
And if this is going to be anything like what we believe it to be, is we love using this on all kinds of different cut baits. Whether it's a shrimp or sardine, anchovy, chicken livers, hot dog, whatever it is you're chasing those cats with. Use your bait that you use, but sprinkle some of this on. I like it for chicken livers, mainly because the chicken liver is really soft, and you use that silly string, and if there's no current and what have you, it's fine. It'll sit out there for a while, slowly dissolve. But I like to put this brine on it, let it sit for a few hours or days. If I can do it 2 or 3 days, that thing gets a little stiff. And it's still got all the ingredients that Kevin has. It has the chicken liver properties, but it stays on the hook better. And you still silly string it, but it lasts a lot longer. And they love that little concoction.
Well, we all know that, catfish, sturgeon, and lots of fish, especially, in murkier water, especially when it gets cold, use their nose way more than they use their eyes. They're sniffing it out. And if you got something that they like, they're going to hunt it down. Obviously, fresh killed blood, things like that, they like that. Well, we can't bottle fresh blood and keep it, but we can grind some stuff up. Again, I'm not going to tell you what's in there, but we can grind some stuff up that keeps that all together and keeps that scent trail just milking. I'm not talking about an oil that just you put it on and then it just rinses off.
Right.
Kind of gimmicky type stuff. No, this actually permeates into the bait and enhances what you already have. We're not changing the wheel here. We're not reinventing anything. Catfish love chicken livers. We know that. All we're doing is putting a little air shock on that wheel to make it a smoother ride. That's all we're doing. We're just helping it out a little bit and enhancing it. I've done this my whole life because I know fish feed by smell. So much so when we're guiding in cold water, muddy water, they're hunting it down because of the smell. And I used to figure this out when we would fish sardines and anchovies for stripers as I was a kid and way back when. And then there was a certain time where this crazy looking worm, the old blood worm, whatever you want to call it. I mean, they call them, they get them pillar worms, but they're just big, long centipede looking things.
Little pile worms or
pile worms. They and the pilings is where that came from, is on low tides. And the guys would go out in little boats and just pull them off all the pilings. So that's where the pile came from, the pile worm. But there's something about it. And they would choke it down. Go, go, go. I mean, they were like, I love this stuff. I love this stuff. And you're like, okay, what's going on? How can I mimic it? And there's gels and there's oils out there, and they're all good. I'm not putting them down. But to enhance the bait that you're fishing, if you start with a good product, you'll end up with a better product. If you got a sardine or chicken liver that's kind of falling apart, it won't stay on there good. You put a little of this on there, it tightens it up a little bit. The next thing you know, boom, it's staying on longer, which what happens? Catch more fish. When I went over to the Kenai River in Alaska back in the 90s, over there, a lot of guys were using sardines but on their plugs, but there wasn't a good cure back then for them. And they just turned white and mushy, and they weren't good. I'm like, man, I got to come up with something. I wasn't doing this to sell. I was doing it for an advantage as a guide. So I came up with my sardine cure back then in the 90s. And it tightened those up a little bit, but you'd still drop them in the water. They'd still milk out. They'd look good. You still changed them out. But it just held it on, like you said, a little bit longer. They just kept it in there. Everything was a little better for a little bit longer. All of a sudden, you're getting after it over the day. You're getting a couple more fish than everybody else. Well, on the Kenai, when you're talking 50, 60, when you're looking for that one big bite, that made a difference. And so that's why I really started using it for salmon over here and, all over the place for the sardine cure. Well, then stripers came along, and so I added a little bit to that. And then next thing you know, I've got a grind-up type cure for everything. Again, it's not an oil. This is a grind-up type cure that we use. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, we like it a lot. We didn't have the Kick 'em a Pow formula for catfishing, through the season. But, as we started using it through, midway through the catfish season, the tournament we've been chasing with the Catfish Bash, is we started placing higher up. We started catching more fish. For the whole season, the 2025 season, we finished 5th place out of about 39 boats who had entered throughout the year, into the series. And not all of them fished, through the whole thing. But, if you look at where we fell against 39 other boats, we finished 5th. So top 10 finish in a series, it wasn't too bad. And we were using, I would call the prototype of this, which was something he already has but not meant for catfishing. Now we spice it up to make it catfishing related.
Yeah, and not a lot of big changes. All the same ingredients, and there are just 2 things added to it. And like I said, they're proven whisker fish, attractants. So I'm really excited about that. Really excited about that.
Us too.
Yeah. And so, yeah. And we've got more stuff to come on that, but people are asking, what do you have? I mean, some of our stuff's online, some of it's not, and we got all kinds of stuff. And we're going to go over here coming up. We're going to start off with the what's hot, what's not, lakes wise, rivers wise. Let's cover a little bit of that. Number one right now, the upper lakes, Berryessa, all these, over there in that whole area are lights out still for trout fishing. People I've talked to are just doing great over there. The other guides I've talked to are doing fantastic. You got Big Nate over there. You got Kyle Wise. You've got anybody else over there you want to throw in their name, go right ahead. I mean, there's guys who are fishing and they're catching lots of fish. That's red hot right now. Trout fishing for sure, some of the best. Then we jump over in the Delta, and also the Delta is red hot right now. And I've got some baits right here. I'm looking at. I've got them laying next to me, and let's go over those real quick. So, what is our standard? Deep diving, minnow looking type plug. It's a great bait. You want to troll it fast, 3 miles an hour. They've got all different types out there. Bomber makes one. Rapala makes one. Yozuri makes one. Rebel makes one. P-Line makes one. Kevin Brock makes one. They all work. But here's a couple things about ours. I don't know about what everybody else does, but what ours are these little triple grip hooks on the back. They're just a little better trebles that we put on there. They stick the fish a little better, and they hold your worm on a little better. So this is a bright one. This is a popular color for the winter time or muddy water. But we got lots of these. And ISC show, we'll talk about that coming up too. After we finish the what's hot, what's not. But these will be available at ISC for a great price. I'm telling you guys, if you want deals, there's no other place, no other time, not online, not at stores, nothing else. If you want the best deals, show up, booth number 3008. Come and see me, say hi. We'll have a crew there. We're going to have these for prices that can't be beat anywhere else. So it'll be time to stock up. So we always put, the trick worm tail on the back of these. Make sure you hang it on the hook that's hanging the lowest. Show that standard striper candy, what we call that one right there. Just a swim bait with a half-ounce head. You can go almost anywhere in the Delta right now. Throw that, reel that back in, throw that, reel that back in, and catch fish. The other thing that works really good is jigging spoons. And this is one of my flutter spoons that I make. And there's Daw spoons, and there's Gibbs spoons, and there's P-Line spoon. Everybody makes them, all right? So I'm not just here just to promote mine, because guys catch fish on what they're fishing with. So it's all good. But this one I designed. It's original. No one else has it. Not the same as anything. It's flatter, and when you lift it, it flutters more. And when it flutters more, it gets bit more. Hands down, bottom line. That is the reaction of the action. So that action gets a reaction of the fish, which puts fish in your boat. And then, of course, standard bigger, which people are catching glide baits. We got these shad colors right now are great in the Delta. Stick with whites, whitish colors, anything like that. Really, really good in the Delta. A lot of fun to fish. We'll talk about one of the rods that I just got back in stock. We'll talk about glide bait fishing a little bit here coming up. So that's a little bit about what the Delta is doing. Bait fishing, straight up minnows. We'll go over my minnow rod. We'll go over my bait rod here coming up. You can't go wrong with hooking a minnow on and going floating around. I mean, if you think that there's fish in an area, you go out of Brandon Island, you go to the West Shore, the Decker Island, go down to Antioch, come back up, Falls River, jump up above, anywhere that you think there might be fish at, you drop a minnow down and you just start easing around with electric motor, you're going to find some fish and you're going to get bit. So if you have any areas at all, someone tips you off, hey, I caught some fish, in the front end of Decker Island, go over there and just drop some minnows down and just kind of float around or just slowly ease around with your electric motor back in the edges and stuff like that, you'll find some stripers. The other thing you can do on the outgoing tides, especially over on the West Bank, and then all the way down towards Antioch, down, all the way down towards the windmills and everything, is fish bait, fish shad. Cast it out, get it on the bottom, put the clicker on, they'll find it. Yep. So, yeah, that's the Delta's just still red hot right now. It's just on fire. It's been so good. Shasta and Oroville are still good for bass, but they're starting to slow down. There's a few salmon being caught on Oroville, but not a bunch. There's some good trout fishing on Shasta. Get a hold of Jeff Goodwin over there. He helps people there. And then Collins Lake, from what I see, is still just pumping out all kinds of big trout, lots of them. Guys on the bank are catching them, power bait rigs. And then guides are also catching them. Cal's over there. Wes is over there. Cal Kellogg, and you can get a hold of him if you want to catch some big trout over there. So fishing-wise, it's still going pretty good, but we got a big storm coming in, and it's going to change everything. And I mean everything. It's going to pump water out. It's going to move things around. So hang on to your hats until next week, and we'll give you a different report then. Oh, and there's still steelhead on the Feather River to be caught. There was guys down there catching them today. So, there's definitely opportunities of good fishing out there right now. So if you still want to go fishing, you've got it. January 1st, you're coming up. The upper section of the Feather River opens from the Highway 70 bridge up to the hatchery. You can keep fish. It is barbless hook up there, and yet there's steelhead to be had. Fly fishing and little spin fishing. I love throwing those little Cleos up there. Those steelhead smash those. So that's a lot of fun. That is a lot of fun. Yeah, last time you were out to the Delta, you guys just crushed them on minnows. I know we talked about it before, but just letting people know. Yep. We'll do a quick how to set that up here. I think that's what we'll jump over to here.
Yeah. And then Clear Lake is still catching big cats. If you're
going to Clear Lake is still, I didn't even mention it. Yep. Clear Lake is still catching big cats, and a lot of them.
And the wintertime crappie, a lot of guys are starting to catch a lot of the winter crappie out there. Find those schools, look in those points, along some docks. You just got to find a school of crappie, and you'll catch a lot.
Yeah. I've got this new rod. We're going to fall right into that. We've got some new rods in our lineup, the K-Brock rods. You will have the first opportunity to get those at the ISE show. Again, I'm going to say this again. Show up to ISE if you want a good deal on some rods. Yeah, like really good deals, like cost, getting them in people's hands type deals. Yeah, so show up for that.
And anybody that went last year will know exactly what Kevin's talking about. Yeah. There was lines outside the booth of just.
We may spice it up even a little bit more this year. Oh. I mean, we sold over 300 rods last year. 300 in just a couple days, and the amount of calls that I had afterwards and people buying them and wanting them was just crazy. Some of the ones we sold out on, and now we've got a couple new ones to show you. So let's just jump right into that. Might as well. It's a fun thing to do. And one of our first new rods to the series, I got them all sitting right next to me here. Let's see if we can pull this off here. I haven't got them rigged up. So this one here is my cork handle, and here's why I'm sticking with the cork handle. This one's my trout rod. This is rated 2 to 6. It's 6'6" long. It is perfect. This one, I redesigned this thing about 3 or 4 times to get it just right. It is the ideal 4-pound test rod. If you need, oh, you were just talking about crappie. This would be a blast on crappie. Okay, it's not the long pulling like some of the. This would be casting bubbles and jigs and things like that, but it would totally be great. Now, what I use this for is trout fishing. What I use my samples for, my prototypes, when we were prototype, every rod that I have, I've used for at least probably a year. Prototyped it, took it out, had other guides fish it, things like that. Do you know that right now, Stoney, we have over 30 guides fishing our rods right now?
That's awesome. That's
Over
a good
30
job.
guides. And guys are still calling to get them from Alaska all the way down. Just sent some to where did I send those to? I'll think of it here in a second. But talk to the guys. You know what? They saw one of our videos over at Bullard's Bar,
Okay.
and then they knew Warren Fredrickson. They called him and said, "Hey, is that Kevin Brock guy legit?" And he's like, "Yeah, thank you, Warren. Yeah, I don't want to ever ask you to lie, but I appreciate you. I appreciate you going out on a limb for me there." No, he said, "Hey, I know that guy, and he's got really good rods, and he helps the guides out." Notice that, help the guides out. Why? Because I'm a guide too. So we get guys at a super great price on these rods. So anyway, 2 to 6 pound. It's the ideal 4-pound test rod. It's super light, yet super strong. I pulled on it today. I was really excited about this rod. And when I was up using it, catching some big old fish, I've tested it out in like 8-degree weather. I've used it at Hat Creek. I've used it at Deer Creek. I've used it at Lake Almanor. I've toted it all around with me, trout fishing with this thing, and caught some big old bluegill and stuff with it. And it's it. And here's why. Here's why. There's lots of mornings, if I'm fishing a little lake, little ponds, something like that, fishing for trout, I love throwing little Castmasters. Now, these things are all at the tackle box store in Chico, or you can get them online. 1/8 ounce, 1/4 ounce. All right. So the 1/8 ounce with some rods, you can't cast them very far. So I put on this one, I put on 4-pound test Sunline, and it's a soft, the natural. Sunline Natural. It's really soft, it's really manageable, but it casts really good. You can cast that little 1/8 ounce Castmaster a mile out there. You put a 1/4 ounce one on there, you can cast it across the lake. So maybe not quite across the lake, but a small lake you can. But this rod, the way I designed it, has a little more backbone in the back end. So when you snap cast, it'll zing a mile. But still on the end, man, it will be just absolutely so soft. A 6-incher will be friggin' pulling on it.
Kyle Weiss wants to know how the split tail bite is.
Yeah, the striper bite's been really good out there, Kyle. Yeah, you know that.
It's for
It's
the
been
split tails. The
Yeah,
split
I
tail
know
bite.
what he said. I kept right on going. So yeah. You need split tails to catch big stripers. So 2 of my favorite little lures right here that I used to fish and still do in all the little creeks, Hat Creek, Deer Creek, and they're biting little spinners. These little babies are my favorite right there. That one's a really good one right there too. So this rod will cast the light spinners really good. Now you're like, well, wait a second. What do you mean? You know, all rods are, no, they're not all equal. They're not all the same. You got to, yeah, Kyle, you do need to look at some rods at ISC. You need to let me know what you need because I got everything that you want. So from rods all the way from side planer rods to downrigger rods to flatlining rods, and then, top lining where you're just on top, everything like that. I've got them. So we're going to go over a few more here today, and we'll take care of you, Kyle, if you stop by at the show. Anyway, so little trout spinners like those. for that trout rod. The other thing that I like to do, one of my favorite ways to catch trout, is literally take a number 12 hook, 14 hook, and put a split shot on it. I'm not going to be able to tie the line on that one. Put just a little split shot on, a little hook, and just drift a single salmon egg. Old school type, but you want to talk about a deadly technique. This little rod will flip a little tiny BB size split shot and a little one single egg right out in the current. You just hold it high, let it drift through there. Tick. It's got enough backbone to set the hook. You catch a 6-incher, he'll fight good, but it's still enough that where you can land a 6-pounder. How is that possible? I did a lot of work on this rod. Been working on this rod for almost 2 years. You're like, what do you mean 2 years? Well, we got to make it. So that takes a couple months. Then we got to fish it. Well, I'm kind of particular. Now I don't like it. Okay. Now we got to make a new one. Why don't we like it? Because this, and this. So we make the changes. Then we get a new one. Well, we made the changes, but it still doesn't feel right. On paper, everything's perfect. But on the rod, in your hand, it's just not right. It's too soft on the end to where I can't make that long cast with that Castmaster. But now this one's too stiff, so a small trout doesn't even feel like nothing's on there. That ain't going to work. That's why it takes time. But if you like trout fishing, you come by and see me. And like I said, I love the feel of cork because they're old school. These aren't going in rod holders if you're trout fishing. So I love the feel of cork on my hand, especially in those cool, damp mornings when you're trout fishing. Come and see me about this one if you like trout fishing. Never had it before. Just got it like 3 days ago. Just got that rod in.
There's definitely a lot of interest online. People making comments. Mr. Sparks already wants to know, where do I line up to get them?
Yeah, we can get them at the tackle box, but and if you want one today, tomorrow, the next day, whatever, show up at the tackle box. You can get them online, but there's not the deal online. If you can hold off for just 1 month, whatever, 26 days, whatever it is, and come to the show, it will be worth your while. I'm just saying.
But if you got to have it now, and you got to have the best, go to Chacklebox and Chico. And I just spoke earlier, but they definitely have them there.
Yeah, we got them there. So, moving forward, Kyle, you might want this rod. There's another rod that I worked on for a couple years. That trout rod is 6 foot 6 inches, single piece. This one is 7 foot 11 inches. Okay. My custom trigger on there. Nobody else has that trigger. Why? Because I made the mold on that. You see, I'm moving it around. There we go. I made the mold so it fits your finger, whichever fingers you got. And I got big hands and they fit in there. So whatever feels comfortable for you when you're reeling, I'll put it this way. Easier said than done with the rods. Don't turn on the fan. That's all I have to say. It's hot in here, but don't turn on the fan with rods around. But you can fish it any way you like. See, I like to fish it something like this. So I'm holding the line, depends on what I'm doing. You're downrigger fishing. The guy's just reeling in, the client's got it. It doesn't wobble back and forth. It's all locked in. It's all secure. Your hand locks right into there. It just, however, what's comfortable for you. Anyway, I designed that reel handle. That's not a Fuji. It's not that's a K-Brock reel handle that we designed. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just giving you the facts. No one else has that rod handle. Check them out. And they are cool. So these ones I go the X-Wrap because these ones are going to be going a lot in downriggers. Rated 4 to 8, but on your main line you can run 10, 12. And it is a kokanee trout. It is the side planer rod. The guys are using an Eagle Lake that can handle 3 to 5 pound rainbows. Yet we fish these rods on bullards, and compared to some of the other ones that were even lighter, these ones had a better action. How is that possible? We have blended some of the materials together to make this possible. It still has enough with a big fish to land on the back end, but when you're fighting a small fish, it still feels like you got something on there. The best all around kokanee / trout, because some got, well, depending on where you're at, but from a 12 to 20-inch fish, hands down, not another one like it. On every guide, we double wrap these. So we wrap underneath, we wrap over the top. So over the years, I mean, I've been guiding over 30 years full time. I fished, I helped Gary and I are friends, Loomis, and I helped him design several rods that are on the Loomis makeup right now. When he sold to Shimano, obviously we weren't a part of that anymore. We double wrap underneath here. Why? Everyone's like, oh, don't do that. It makes them heavier. It makes them stronger. There is no twist in this. I can push on there. There is no twist. It goes all the way up. All the way up. Check this out. All the way up. It keeps going. You know how half of them, they go halfway up, and then they come out to the single-footed guides? These are double-footed guides, double wrapped. You can't move these. You cannot move them. Clients aren't going to step on them and bend them over and crack them, and the epoxy's not going to crap on there. Crap, anything like that. None of that's going to happen. Why did I do this? It costs more. I did this because I got tired of spending $300 on a rod and then coming back and, you barely touch it and the eye's bent. You're like, what the heck, right? No, These things won't do that. Now, what else does it do? It doesn't tweak on the line. See how when you pull on the line, that eye doesn't move? On other rods, you'll pull it. Well, that gives into, it takes away from the rod. So that's why, one of the reasons why, when you're fishing smaller fish like on bullards, they still fight good and feel bigger on this rod. So people are going to copy it. It's part of it, but I've already sold hundreds of these. I've got these in guides from Big Nate to guys to the Fries. I'm using them. There's probably, I don't know, I think different guys. I just sent some. Today I sent another 16 rods out. Warren's using them. Different guides are using them. All over. This is a cool rod. It will handle. And by the way, we're going to be doing a kokanee seminar at ISC, straight on just kokanee, and that will be Saturday.
So what's the retail price of these rods, Kevin?
Retail's $2.5 to $300 on these rods. Hands down. They're a lifetime guarantee rod. You break them, no questions asked. $50 over the counter replacement, no questions asked. I don't care if you slam in the door. Doesn't matter to me. $50, get you a new one. They're $250 to $300 depending on the model. Okay, that's what they go retail for. It's competitive, but for what the rod is, that's what they are. It will handle the 6-inch flasher like that. I'll be talking about those, Whiskey Town, and the little Coco Spin. That's one of my favorite combinations right there. Guys are like, yeah. That's exactly right. That's a favorite combination of me. I hand paint these myself and spray them with UV paint on the outside. So they are a little different than, the 25 others that are out there. The Coco Spin is my own patent on that one. I made this little blade up here. It spins as it bobs around. Gives it more erratic action. And it does, guaranteed, hands down, catch bigger fish, I know, on Whiskey Town. And, bullards are all about the same. But when I fished it and guided on Whiskey Town, we got bigger fish on that right there, Coco Spin.
And
so we'll talk about that.
Video proof.
Yeah, we do have a video on that at oldfartsfishing.com. Check out the video on Whiskey Town kokanee fishing, and you'll see all about that. I got it over there quite a bit. But big fish, 16, 17, 18, 19 inches long on those rods. It was so cool fishing the rods I was using and then fishing these. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. So let's keep moving. My next favorite rod, you fish this rod, Stoney yourself. You haven't fished the trout rod. You have fished the kokanee rod.
Yeah.
But when we did a video over on the Delta and we switched over to minnows, you fished this rod. This rod has been, hey, cool, Chris. Yeah, Whiskey Town's a cool place. I love it, buddy. I just looking at some comments here. We got all kinds of comments going through here. You got to try those cocoa spins over there. And then what else we got going on over there? This one. So there used to be a rod that Gary made, and I helped him with this years ago, Lewis, and it was called a HSR. It was a hot shot rod. It was called a HSR 9000. This is a 7'6" X-Wrap handle, a little extra long on the butt section, three extra long on there on purpose, custom grip, custom handle, double wrapped all the way to the top. I know Zanoko, Aaron Zanoko, Dakota Townley, Jacob Fry. Let me keep going. Jeff Brady. Mario. Let's see. Myself. I can just keep right on going down the list of guides. Tony Sapola, who are using these rods right now while guiding for striped bass when it comes to minnow fishing. I made this for minnow fishing, hands down. Straight up. We landed, how big was that fish? We landed on that view. It had over, between mine and Anthony's, we had over almost 300,000 views.
That was what, 36 pounds or something?
Yeah, 36, 38, whatever it was, just on these rods right here. They're rated 6 to 10 pound test. You can run 12-pound leader on them, no problem. There was times fish would dive under the boat and client would try to drag it back up. I'm like, oh, it's going to blow up. It's going to break. No. Never broke. One guy broke one, not on my boat, but another boat. He grabbed it in the middle. They had like 4 on at a time. Last year, striper fishing was good. He grabbed it in the middle like that, and he went to lift it, the fish in the boat. Well, I'm sorry, no rod's going to hold up on that. But, I mean, so I've sold on these ones, I think like 400 of these rods. That's how popular they are. I was out of them. Just got the next shipment in. So ISC will have this. We use this for minnows on the Delta. We use it for minnows on the Sacramento River, the Feather River, anywhere, there's larger fish. There you go.
And I'll let a secret out. We use them for catfishing too. And we got big catfish. I think, big ones.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that might be a little much on them. I mean, you can play
it handles it.
I'm telling you, I leaned on one time and I felt it bend to the cork or the X-Wrap. I call it bend to the cork just because that's a term of old school fishing where you have a big fish on and the rod's bent over. And I'm like, oh, it's going to blow up. It's going to blow up. No, it didn't blow up. There's something to, though, that double wrapped, having it double wrapped and strengthening those rods. And they're not any heavier, and people love them. The reviews I had on that rod, it was 5Cs, would amaze you. All the clients, the different people, everybody else who called in, and this is the 5C for the minnow, for 5 a minnow. And I mean, I had people saying, hey, cool, this was an awesome rod. We never thought it would hold up, and it did, and thank you so much, So that one's available. It's a cool rod.
And are those on your website, Kevin? A lot of this stuff we're talking about, you can either go online to your website and you ship right, to whoever orders online.
Yeah,
or you can go
it is on my website. They are on the website. They're in the store. Several stores got them. We've probably sold them to 20 different stores in different places, and so people are picking them up and buying them at different stores. All right, next one in line is the 7C. 7C is just the bigger brother of the 5C. So this one, you have also used this rod, and you have caught fish rod, and we have a video of this rod catching a really nice fish out there by Decker Island, about a 10-pounder or something, trolling.
Yeah, that striper was huge.
Yeah, this is the rod I use for trolling for stripers. Right there. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I'm just reading comments. That lure, that rod, the 7C is, or excuse me, yeah, the 7C is made for that. 7'9" custom grip, long handle for rod holders, things like that. It can hold. I mean, we're gonna go to the California Striped Bass Association dinner on the 14th, and you're gonna hold this rod, Stoney. Why I'm gonna try to break it, and we'll see how strong this thing is. Because guys are like, oh no, that can't be strong enough. Oh, it's strong. I use this rod flatlining with quick fish for salmon, and we're not talking a lot about salmon right now because we'll see when that happens. But this is a striper trolling rod. Now that's what I made this rod for. Some guys have been fishing their anchovies and sardines with this rod, coming back saying it's the ultimate bait rod because it's so soft in the tip, yet when they set the hook on it, they drive it home. That's the 7C. We're going to keep going because we're going to run out of time too quick here. That's awesome. I love that rod.
Me too.
So that rod there is equivalent to the Loomis 930. Okay, if you guys know your Loomises, if you guys know the old school stuff, that they don't make it anymore, it comes off the 930, 7'9". All right, long handle, custom grip. Yeah, you're trolling, you'll like it. You'll like it a lot. Next in line, one of our most popular selling rods at the show last year. We sold out at the show. Over 100 of these rods is the 1C.
I was going to say the 1C, yep.
1C, there it is. The casting 1C, 10 to 20 pound. This is our best all around. You can troll with this. You can jig with this. Love to jig with this. But I made this one for casting mid-sized glide baits and swim baits. That's what I made this from, 1/2 ounce up to 1 ounce. This rod right here, I put a little bigger rod on there. Now, what we did with this one, because we're casting this up, we shortened the butt section by a few inches. Because when you were casting it, it was hanging up underneath your arm all the time and in here in your shirt. So if you're casting glide baits all the time, you don't want that hanging up. So it fits right up underneath your forearm. That's by design. That's on purpose. This rod here will tame any catfish that swims in California water. It will tame any striper. It will tame any salmon. But we've got other salmon rods and stuff. We'll talk those. I got some of those, some awesome ones for that. But we'll talk about that later. But yeah, Chris, you got 4 930s. Yeah, and then we get a comment in here. Yeah, those 930s are awesome. That's what this rod is. Lifetime warranty on it. And they're good looking rods too, by the way. Shorter handle by design. This is for casting. You guys want to get out there and cast and cast and cast. You want to jig spoons, drop them down, jig spoons all day long. No effort. It's balanced properly. You put it underneath your arm like that. You can jig all day. You can cast all day, crank. You can glide all day if you want. You can use the handle of your reel, or you can use a rod, whatever you like. That's what this rod was designed for. You can use it for other things, but it is, I'm telling you, number one popular. 7.6, 12 to 20. So the question is there e-glass mixed in? I blended. Chris is asking about the rods. I blended stuff in with them. So I blended IM6 material with IMX material to get some of the backbones and some different things, the sensitivity, and then yet to be able to get the strength out of them. My minnow rod, we wrapped some glass in there. You just got to feel them to check them out. But they are pretty cool. And I'm not the only one saying that because, like I said, we just ordered, another 700 rods that just showed up. It's because we sold out of all the other ones. They're really catching on, and people are getting them. So if you want a good deal on them, come to the ISE show and see me there, and you can have some of these rods for a deal that you can't refuse. That is for sure, for sure, for sure. Well, we kind of blew through that. That was a lot about one more thing. One more thing. It caught my eye, so we'll go right to it. On the minnow rods, on all the casting rods, especially on this super popular downrigger rod, everything else, the tip, I can't get it to you. It's too soft. Maybe I can. Hold on. Let me know if you can see it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. The tip, the eye, if you can tell, is super small. It looks weird on the rod because it doesn't match. And they're like, no, you can't put that small of a tip on there. I'm like, yes, I can. You know why? Because I think a lot of the manufacturers, the tip's too big on their rods. Because when you put it in a downrigger, the line gets looped over it all the time. Or you roll it or you go to cast it and it's not really. With that, on the light line, with that like that, and look what I'm doing with that rod tip. Isn't that cool? Don't do that at home. That's my downrigger rod right there. I'm telling you, but it's got the backbone on it. Nate's using them for divers, and for side planers. So, and another guy just pick them up for 4 of them up for side planers. So that's pretty cool. Let's check this out. Let me return this one real quick.
Always working, yeah.
I'm looking for where I sent them. It's bothering me because I can't find where I just sent these rods. Yeah, pretty cool. An organization, gounlimited.org. Dustin Berg over in NM. We just sent 16 rods. And that's not New Melones, by the way. You still with me or did I lose you?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
All right. Good deal. Pretty cool. We're running out of time already. I've been yapping way too much. We got all kinds of. All right, Chris, we'll see you there. We're looking forward to it. We got all kinds of people jumping in on here online and checking stuff out. Tell me about this front sonar thing.
I'd rather not.
All right. Well, we don't even need to talk about it then. No problem.
It's it's a thing that has got a lot of attention. Let me just put it that way. We're seeing it across the board in the tournament world, from bass fishing to now catfishing, and it's been a hot topic out here in some of the things that we do with catfishing. And it's definitely something that people are looking at and very opinionated about it one way or the other. And at the end of the day, you still got to put fish in the boat. You still got to put bait in their face. And I think it's, when it comes to competition, a lot of the tournament directors have challenges to figure out what's the best way to have a tournament to make it as level as possible. And where does it stop, right? If they're banning front facing sonar, is all of a sudden they're doing side scan? Are they doing so it just gets out of hand, and I feel bad for a lot of tournament directors that have to make these decisions. But it's definitely a hot topic, and I don't think there's any one answer that's going to answer it or solve it. You're always going to have difference of opinion, and we'll kind of see what these guys do, in the next few weeks before next year's season starts, and see who's keeping it and who's not. So
yeah, it sounds good. I like it. I'm a guide, but sometimes I don't use it. Some places it doesn't do me any good at all. But there are times that I do like it. it definitely can be an advantage in some things, some scenarios,
Right.
So, um, but I love seeing fish come up and eat your lure. But yeah, that's kind of cool. But I mean, in developing rods, the only reason I developed rods is because I couldn't get the ones I wanted anymore. And more than that, it was about the customer service, honestly.
Right.
I mean, these companies just sold out and different things, and I don't blame them. Gary did it. Gary sold the Shimano, and he made millions of dollars, and good for him. I mean, I would have done the same thing. They come and offer me that kind of money for it, but the customer service just went to crap. And I know that I'm not. I'm not. I'm just saying, as a general rule in the industry, the customer service went to crap. I'm not picking out or picking on any one person or any one company. But
It's everywhere, Kevin.
as a guide,
Everywhere.
it was like, you know, I had done seminars and things and sold not hundreds but thousands of rods for one company. And you call, and you're like, hey, you go ahead and send me those two out, da da da, whatever. And you just get treated like crap. You're like, what just happened? What just happened there? I'm not asking for the world. I'm not asking for everything for free. I understand we all got to make money, but man, you cannot burn the bridge. And it wasn't just me, it was over and over and over again and different people. And finally, I was like, well, I either got to make my own or I just got to put up or shut up. And so I started looking into it, and we've been developing rods now. It goes back to with one of the other ones, I developed Lamiglass. I developed the whole Redline series, and they had mine, all my rods, all my everything. I worked for 2 years with one of the guys over there. Well, then he left. He took the stuff with him, worked with someone else, blah blah blah. All that was for nothing. And then the series came out, and they didn't even put my name on it. I'm like, what happened? We had that down. Well, no, he left, and da 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 da. I go, well, what about royalties? What about, I sold these rods with you? Nothing. And I understand business is business, but it just burns you the wrong way when you call and you act like a criminal because you broke a rod, So, I mean, everybody breaks a rod here and there. Happens.
Yeah. Yes,
Happens.
yeah. And I've broke a few of your rods.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've shoved them down. I mean, I've had people shove them down in the prop. Well, I don't care what rod's you got, it's gonna break, So yeah, no, I wouldn't want to be in their position either if we got to make a choice between sonar or not sonar. I think in the club / type, activity type, everybody involved type tournaments where grandpa can go and everybody, then I think it should just be across the board, this is what the rule is.
Right.
That's it. Because when they look at the standings, yeah, I hear you, buddy. When you look at, they don't care about us either. When you look at the standings, and every time the top 3 guys all have something that you don't and you can't get, or maybe you can't afford, it kind of bums you out a little bit. So the tournament director has to look at, also, different blind bogey type stuff, different things, fish that, just a certain size fish. So it doesn't matter what you have. If you catch one, you still got a chance. So, but
stay tuned to see what happens as the world turns.
as the world turns with front sonar, can't keep everybody happy. But we can keep everybody happy at the ISC show, and we're going to do that. So don't forget to show up there. I've got a seminar there. We're going to be giving away all kinds of stuff. The seminar, the rod deals you will get will not be anywhere else. This is the only place you can get them, the only time of year. So we are going to make this kind of a special event. You want swim baits, you want lures. They're going to be cheaper than any distributor can get them anywhere. There's going to be like, $1 a piece for swim baits. There's going to be like all kinds of stuff. So Yep. 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 Hey, look at that.
Yep. We're at
We're
the
out of
top.
time.
Yeah. We're at the
Imagine
top.
that. Yeah. Super fun. Super great, everybody. We love you very much. Um, what's coming up next week? No, we're not to Christmas yet. Made it through Thanksgiving. Everybody stay dry. Check out Old Farts Fishing if you want to watch some videos on different things we were talking about. Kokanee Striper, we got all kinds of videos over there. You want to see some stuff about catfishing. You want to buy anything from me, let me know. Send me a text, send me an email. We'll get you set up.
All right. Well, that's a wrap, Kevin. We will see everybody online. Thanks for dialing in. We will see you next week. And we are, in case you're bored on Christmas Day and you're tired of the family and you want to talk fishing, we're probably going to do this on Christmas Day as well. So
We're gonna try. We're gonna try if it goes through. We got service. We're gonna try to make it happen. So,
yep. All right, everybody.
all right. Love you all. Thank you much for your support.
Perfect.